Yo, what's up guys? This is MidnightWabbit and welcome back to another episode of my high-end weapons guide here on The Division. Today we're going to be covering a named high-end light machine gun called the Pakhan. Now the name of this weapon is actually a reference to the Russian mob, which I did not know, where the Pakhan is the highest, like a father figure member of the family. It's like the highest ranking member of a family in the Russian mob, which I actually didn't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. But basically the way you get this weapon is from the same place that you get the Cassidy, the double-barrel shotgun that I showed you guys last week on the high-end weapons guide. It's from the advanced weaponry vendor in the security wing. Now, you will have to have the security wing upgrade called Armory. If you don't have the Armory upgrade in the security wing, you will not have this, no matter what level you are, you will not have the advanced weapons vendor. He will not be there unless you have the Armory upgrade. So you're going to want to go to that console right there and make sure you get the Armory upgrade, and then you'll be able to go through here, and the advanced weapons vendor is going to be back here behind this little gate. And as you can see, he sells the Pakhan and the Cassidy and then some other like legendary or superior or whatever items as well. But basically, it's a pretty decent machine gun. I'm going to go ahead and read from the wiki here like I always do. The Pakhan is a named high-end light machine gun which can be purchased from the advanced weaponry vendor in the base of operations for around 481,000 credits. I think they reduced that to it's like 470k now, I think, for both of those weapons, but I'm not positive. You have to see, you have to look. Since it is named, it does have a default weapon skin that cannot be changed. This weapon has a default gold and wood grain appearance, which looks pretty sick in my opinion. Now, the Pakhan, being a named high-end weapon, has the following traits every time you get it. It will always have the same traits. Reloading is 13% faster. Destructive. Armor destruction is increased by 18%, and ferocious, which is the inherent trait which every high-end weapon has, which is in this case 13% damage versus elites and named enemies, or plus 13%, which is pretty. The ferocious 13% damage for the elites and named enemies, and then the armor destruction damage will actually stack on top of each other. So if you're up against an elite enemy, the armor will go down very, very quickly up close. If you're like close range to an elite enemy, this is a very, very good gun to use against like the bosses, like to just drain their armor, or just like any elite enemies in general. Especially like if you're doing like a challenge mission or something. This will be a pretty good gun to have. Has the following weapon slots: magazine, large muzzle, and a smaller large optic. Now the downside to this is that there is no grip. There is no slot for a grip on this weapon. As you can see, it does have quite a bit of recoil. LMGs in this game do have a lot of recoil. So do assault rifles. I think that does need to be patched, in my opinion. SMGs honestly have no recoil whatsoever, which doesn't really make sense. I'm not complaining because I do love the SMGs like the Midas and the Vector in this game, but they have absolutely no recoil and very high damage, so they're pretty much superior to all other weapon types, except maybe marksman rifles at long range. But as you can see, up close, it does do a decent amount of damage. You may want to get some gloves that have LMG damage bonus on them, and maybe boost your firearms. Instead of like electronics or stamina, you may want to boost your firearms when using this weapon to make it really shine. I do recommend burst firing it at medium to long range. Up close like that, you can just kind of spray. But at medium to long range, I do recommend burst firing this weapon because it does have quite a bit of recoil, and you will be missing a lot of bullets and just end up wasting ammo, which is not something you want to do in this game, because once you run out of ammo, like especially if you're in the dark zone or something and you run out of ammo, that's a major problem. You need to, especially, I mean, luckily, if you have like a secondary, or if this is your secondary, if you have a primary, then you can use that once you run out of ammo. But I wouldn't use this as your main weapon. I would run around with an SMG like a Midas or a Vector, and I would use this to damage bosses because, like I said, the armor destruction value and the damage against elite and named enemies actually stack on top of each other. So you can basically, like I said, up close, you can melt any boss's health, really, if you're up close to them. I recommend getting in close with this weapon, even though it's an LMG. You'd think I can use it long range, but because of the recoil, I recommend either burst firing, which isn't going to be as effective, or getting in close and just dealing a ton of damage to the elite and named enemies with the armor destruction and the elite bonus damage that you get from this weapon inherently. You there are better guns out there, like I said, like the Midas or the Vector. Pretty much any SMG is going to be better, but this is still a good gun to have because you can get like the armor destruction stuff on SMGs, and if you have like a Vector with the armor destruction value and like increased damage against elites and shit, that is pretty much that is an amazing gun. You never want to get rid of that. That is a gold tier gun. That is just like one step above high-end, basically. If you have like a high-end Vector with those traits, or something like that, or an AUG, or something like any SMG. But this gun, since it's guaranteed, if you're not very lucky, it's guaranteed to have these traits. So no matter what, it will have these traits on the weapon every single time you purchase it from the advanced weapons vendor in the security wing. It will always have these traits. So as you can see right here, it just melts the boss's armor. And once the boss's armor is down, once any elite's armor is down, their health goes down very, very quickly, almost like a red bar enemy in the overworld. But basically, this gun, like I said, is very good against armored enemies, very good against elites and bosses. It does have, as you can see, it has like a 90-round mag. It can have up to like a 90-round mag if you had, depending on what kind of magazine mod you have. I think mine gives me like a 90% bonus in magazine size. So this thing goes up to 85-round mag instead of 45, which is pretty good. And then you can increase your accuracy, which I definitely recommend doing by using muzzle mods and optics, but you cannot reduce recoil. You can increase the accuracy, but you cannot reduce recoil with this weapon because there is no slot for a grip on this gun. So that is the one downside really to this gun, is the lack of a grip slot. It does have a lot of ammo. It has you can hold a lot of ammo for LMGs, and it has a lot of ammo in the clip. Just inherently has a 45-round mag, plus with a magazine mod you can get it up to like 90, which is pretty good in my opinion. I definitely recommend using this gun for bosses or elite enemies or stuff like that, or like if you're going to use like a challenge mission or something like that. Just use this kind of, I would never use this as your primer. I would use this as a secondary weapon and have an SMG as your primary, but that's just me. That's just my opinions. Let me know what you guys think of this gun in the comment section down below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and subscribe if you have not already for more Division content, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.